Hi, I'm Emily. I have a 40-year-old yellow-naped Amazon named Arnold. I first met Arnold at my job. I've been there almost 10 years, so I've known him for almost 10 years. He was my boss's bird, and he lived at the office. He was kind of the office bird, and people would kind of go by, and he ate a lot of graham crackers and peanuts and Cheez-Its, and he was kind of a mascot, but I don't know if anybody really knew how to properly take care of him. And over the pandemic, I was one of the only people who was going into the office every day. And so I kind of became his caretaker. So I was like, I guess I should learn what to do with this bird. And I started looking around online and I found BirdTricks, and I loved everything about what you guys were doing. I loved the way that you approached it. It was super accessible for somebody like me who didn't have any experience or even ever any thought of having a parrot. It was something, that was like, teach him to touch the end of a stick. I was like, I can do that, So I started to try to work with that as much as I could, but because he did live there 24/7, he did have food all the time, and I couldn't do a ton, but I, got him some toys and bigger cage and moved him into my office to hang out, and we kind of went from there. And then like a year ago, I was like, let's be honest, I'm going to end up with this bird anyway, because my boss is probably going to retire in a few years. So I was like, let's just take the leap and take him home and really start trying to do the right thing by him. So I brought him home about a year ago and got his diet transitioned and started trying to do some other kind of training. And then I thought, why not free flight? Keep it moving. I knew that I wanted to learn free flight with Arnold, or I wanted to try free flight with Arnold as soon as I brought him home, because I thought, I had kind of just mentioned, I didn't know what I didn't know, so I think people who had more experience might look at a 40-year-old bird and say, maybe that's not the best idea, but I'm like, well, why not? So I thought, if he's willing, if he's, he seemed pretty spunky for his age, and I thought, we could try it and give him that gift of being able to fly, which he hadn't had to my knowledge. And I, thought that was a good way for him to get his exercise and for us to bond and just something to do. And so we just started taking that first step. I did not look at any other free flight courses. I was already following BirdTricks, but I think even if I hadn't been, just everything that you guys did, from the permission-based training to just being so open and honest about your own struggles, and and things aren't always perfect, but you work through it slowly, and just the way that you guys did things resonated so much with me that I'm sure I probably would have picked it anyway. But no, I was BirdTricks all the way. I started out working with Kim. I got an appointment with her or consult with her right away when I brought Arnold home to do the diet conversion stuff, which I think I was making more difficult than it needed to be, because he's kind of like, oh, what's that? All right, I'll eat it, and I was complicating the process. But she helped me kind of smooth that out, and we got him on the right diet. And I told her that I was interested in free flight, and so she put me on the wait list. And then a few months later, when our time came, she's like, it's your turn. And I had been kind of working with him just to see if he had any ability to hop or fly or flap or anything. And he had, and we had gotten that on video a couple times. So I sent that in, and she got me set up initially just with Dave, and we started doing his kind of free flight training. And then Eleanor came into the process, and it was kind of a smooth handover, and kind of in the end I was just working with Eleanor, but both of them, Dave and Eleanor and Kim, were all just, amazingly supportive and encouraging, and knowledgeable is kind of understood. You guys are all experts. So it was such a enriching and empowering and rewarding experience to work with them all, because they all had their different kind of, Kim's very, kind of just no nonsense, and this is what's this and this and this, which is so helpful for someone who doesn't know enough to be able to read between the lines. And then Dave and Eleanor were just so encouraging and so positive about all of our little steps, because they were little steps, And I looked forward to our calls, and I was really worried that I was going to disappoint them. I was like, I can't suck, because I can't have to get my videos, I have to get my stuff and all that, and I really wanted to make them proud, and to do the best that I could for Arnold and for them. I did not use GPS or telemetry with Arnold. I partly had heard that it's not always super successful with Amazons. I think they're little short tails, and maybe they just don't like it. I don't know, but I heard that it wasn't always something that they took to. And then also he is an older bird, and he didn't show any signs of having abilities to fly super far distances, although I know it can happen. So what we were training for was just kind of short A to Bs and smaller flights, and I thought, that probably wasn't something we really needed to focus on right now. We're from North Carolina, so he had never seen terrain like this, and he really hadn't seen any other birds. He'd been an only bird, his whole life, and so it was a lot to process. But he did really well, and we were actually here a little bit before everybody came, so it wasn't the whole team, but we did just a few A to B flights with a smaller group, and he was pretty dialed in, he was looking around and he was interested, but he was paying attention and he was ready to go. I think, he had dropped a little bit of weight on the trip over here, which might have been helpful because he doesn't lose weight easily. He likes to eat. So I think he was kind of ready to eat. He was ready to get out, and he kind of looked around and he was like, all right, let's go.
Tilted towards the wind.
Yeah.
That's one way you can also read how much wind is happening, is he'll turn into it a little bit. So I'm going to move this just slightly.
You want to go again? Ready?
Nice. Nice. So these look awesome. I have no reason to say we need to stop, but I want to offer that opportunity for you to read his body language and see, do you think he wants to keep going? Do we need to change it up? Let me know whatever your thoughts are.
I think we could do a couple more. This is more than we usually do kind of the 5, with the hardest in the middle, and that kind of thing. But he seems more excited to be out here than he does at home.
I agree. I feel like we're seeing a lot of good motivation.
Yeah.
And he's wanting that little spin wind up that he does.
Yeah.
So you could keep going if you want to, at least from what I'm reading. You reading the same?
Yeah. You ready? Arnold.
I could say we probably could increase it. Well, do you want this work here today, or do you want to wait for that tomorrow?
The winds are perfect for it if it happens today.
You want to push for it?
I do.
Okay.
Do you think you can make it all the way to the road? To the edge of the road?
Try.
Okay.
Very non-chewy.
You have a little bit of a... Yeah, there you go.
Don't trip over a bush like Tony.
Aw.
And Jen.
Do it again.
No.
All right, stand by here. He's winding up, maybe?
Do you want to come here?
It's like he's protesting this distance.
You can do it.
Good control.
Yes, sir. Ready?
Yeah, I think so too.
You guys look like proud parents.
That's crazy.
I feel so proud right now.
Excited to be.
But that's a weird thing to say, Jamie.
Yeah.
He does it, but he seems really happy to be out here.
Yeah, and he's got an audience too.
Woo!
You guys have a nice scramble up the hillside. It's really soft, right? Did you run?
All right, Arnold back in.
It's fun to run down it. Yeah, for sure.
What's that? Oh, it's a rock.
Here, if you want, we can
Rock! No! Oh my god.
so you don't. Cool. That was great. Nice job. Well, he seems less hesitant than in the batting cage.
Yeah.
Like he looked around a bit, but he was dialed in on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
I think that was a perfect day one for him then, because it's like way less people today and calmer, just
That's kind of
overall.
why we was like, well, the opportunity's here.
Let's do it.
So
My biggest struggle during the course was me, of course. I was always going at my pace and not his pace, and that pace was either way too fast or way too slow. And so I really had to kind of get tuned into what did he want to do today, what was he capable of doing today, you know, what was his motivation, and let it be okay if what I wanted to do wasn't what he wanted to do. I felt like I would kind of, you know, I'd get him to hop from here to here and I'd be like, great, let's go to the Grand Canyon. You know, it was just these huge like leaps, and sticking with the approximations was hard for me. But that was his pace, you know, this was how much we could do. And once I kind of just let go of what I thought he was gonna wanna do and what I wanted to do, and just kind of look at the facts in front of me and do what there was to do with him that day, just in small, it's all little small moments. It's this moment, this day, this weight, all of those things, you know, and one day is never gonna be the same as the next day. So once I kind of got my head around that, I feel like it progressed much better, but that was a real struggle for me because I was like, let's go. My favorite bird to watch fly this trip, I loved watching all of the blue throats because they just all fly so well together. So all of them, so Jinx and Althea and Moxie and Zip and Zoom and everybody. And I also really enjoyed watching my fellow graduates, macaws, Pyro and Atlas, because they were kind of the wild cards, and watching their moms and dads work through that and work with them was really cool because, like I said, Arnold's an only bird. I don't have any other birds, and to just be around people working through with different birds and through different scenarios, I was just always learning, and it was so cool to see, because I'll probably never have a macaw because I don't think my nerves can handle them flying that high. I can't wait to see their journeys because I know they're going to be incredible flyers, and it's just cool to be here at the beginning. I absolutely felt prepared for the BirdTricks part of the trip. I flew from North Carolina, and so I had to take Arnold on a plane, which was a first for both of us. And I felt prepared for that too because I had talked to Kim and worked through the airplane carrier and everything, but you just never know, you know, there's no way to simulate being on a plane and traveling for 10 hours in a small carrier until you do it. I was nervous about that, but once I got here, I did feel like I had the tools I needed for him to be successful as long as I kind of followed those tools, paid attention to what I had been taught. And it really helped that you're just immediately surrounded by the community, the BirdTricks community. I've watched all these videos and everybody says the same thing, so I'm gonna say it too, because it's true. Everybody's willing to help, everybody's right there, like, what can I do, how can I help you? You know, and people just sharing their stories and what's worked for them and all of that. So I just felt so grounded and supported as soon as I got here. And I'm not a non-nervous person about things like that, but I really felt a real sense of calm just knowing I was in good hands and with the right people.
I could be a lighthouse in the fog, trying my best to guide you back to us. I know you're going through a lot right now. I know that life is upside down. All your brothers, put them on me. All your brothers, put
There were a little clump of Amazons this time. I don't know how common that is, but it was cool for me to be here with Laura and her Amazon Sprite, who is also yellow-naped, about 37 years younger than Arnold, who just graduated in May. And we flew them together a lot, a little bit, some. And well, by together, I mean Sprite's like taken off the perch and Arnold's like, but they were next to each other, so it was cute. And they lived together in the house. We stayed together in an Airbnb, and it was funny on the second day, this isn't about flying, but Arnold started to say, all right, which I don't say, but which Sprite says. So they kind of were talking to each other. And then Tony had Dot out there, which Dot's just like a rock star, so she's zipping and zooming all over the place. It was a privilege to fly with those two on either side of him. It's a cool story for me, and I think it was cool for him to see all that action around him. And it was funny because Tony took some pictures of Arnold, and then interspersed, there was a picture of Sprite, and I was like, oh my gosh, Arnold looks like an action star. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not Arnold. But it was really, he looked great, and I thought he did wonderful, and I love him. I didn't know this, but there is no real drop zone here in where we are in Utah, but Dave arranged for us to be able to skydive into right here where we're all staying. And a couple of us, and Dave wingsuited. Arnold got to fly in the morning, and I got to fly in the afternoon, and it was probably just as graceful. I had never skydived before. It was a really cool experience. I would totally recommend it if it doesn't terrify you to death, to go ahead and try it. It's not as bad as you think. It's really cool. You get to just experience that rush of wind, and it doesn't feel like a free fall. I thought it would feel like free fall, but it's more smooth than that, and it was really cool. I would tell someone who is interested in free flying their bird, number one, is your bird interested in free flying? And number two, one of the takeaways that I had from this trip is free flight is awesome and it's cool, but it is completely secondary to all of your foundations. Your diet, your sleep, your handling, your crating, all of that stuff that, is kind of the boring stuff, the stuff you work on every day. When you see people out there throwing their birds off cliffs and they're flying all around, they have it really down solid at home. Every interaction is a training session kind of thing. These are the people who have taken that to heart and are working on those small things every day to make possible the big things. So I would say to focus on that, and if you want to do free flight and if your bird wants to do it, that will come. And then also to do it with BirdTricks, of course, because I just can't think of a better group of people. And it really is a team effort. Everybody's pouring into you. And I remember you guys said, we've never lost a bird, and that is the legacy that, we're asking you to carry on. And to me, that was like the biggest thing of why I wanted to work on the foundations, not get it wrong, not lose my bird. Of course, I don't want to lose my bird for me and for him, but I also was like, you don't want to be the person that screws up that record, and I just thought that was a privilege and a heavy mantle if you really take it seriously. So I would just say, be serious about it, do what needs to be done, do the hard work so you can do the fun work. My favorite moment, I think, on this trip was graduation day, which was surprising to me because I thought I'd just be nervous, but it was really cool to have all the graduates working together as a team to support each other and help everybody graduate their birds and fly safely. And it was a great group of people, and I was just happy to be a part of it.